Hello there folks, and welcome back to another video. In this one we're going to be having a look at some brand new miniatures revealed for the War of the Rohirrim, extending what's available for the Middle-earth strategy battle game, and also matches up quite nicely to the new Middle-earth journal that's going to be coming out very soon as well, which allows you to play a whole series of linked scenarios based on that particular anime film that came out last year in 2024. So this time we get to see some more of the good guys, some more of the fun, awesome characters fighting alongside Helm and Hera and the rest. Starting with Frailaf Hildson, as you can see here. He is the first Marshal of the Riddermark and the Lord of Harrowdale. He is the one who tries to persuade Helm not to fight Freka outside. That went well, of course. And then he also tries to stop him from surging out of the gates of Edoras and charging towards Wolf across the fields outside the city. That didn't go well either. So all of those words of advice fell on deaf ears, but then Helm is wont to do that. Nice new miniature, once again, for Fréaláf, as you can see here, with the mounted and on-foot version. Matches up quite nicely to the look of the character from the films, as always, with the same colour style and everything like that. Again, as I've talked about in the previous video when we talked about Helm and his new miniature, there's very much a clean painting style used for these on the studio miniatures. It's essentially so you can see all the different elements of the particular figure, and you know what you're getting essentially when you look at it on the web store. But I think it would be quite nice to see someone doing it in a slightly more muted tone that would sort of mirror the colour palette of the anime itself, which is colourful, but also has that kind of more natural feel to everything. So everything, yes, is very bright and all that kind of thing, as you can see here on these particular figures, but it'd be interesting to see if someone approached it with a slightly more muted tone across the figure. I do think the poses are quite nice as well. You've got him charging forward on the back of his horse, and then a very commanding pose for him on foot as well. I do think he's potentially missing a few interesting bits and pieces. I'd like to see him with a cloak or robe. I think that would be quite fun. Just sort of see something flowing in the wind behind him. I tend to think most Rohirrim characters work quite nicely with a cloak, and it's something that I think is quite good on the newer Hera miniature in plastic. But it would be nice to see someone doing something like that for Fréaláf. Maybe we could see some customization or kit bashing on that front as people come up with some ideas for how you would do that. I think it's just because it means that the silhouette looks a little bit different, and it also hides a little bit more of that kind of slightly more anime design that you get off the back of the character. Would flow quite nicely around the fact that he's got the sword sort of held at a slightly different angle there, especially with the scabbard, and you could have the cloak flowing over the top of it. I also think, even though he doesn't necessarily wear a helmet really in the film very often, it'd be nice to see a helmeted version of him as well. There might be one that comes on the sprue, although they tend to show off the various options for a particular character in these preview images. So if we're not seeing one here, then perhaps we're not going to get one on that plastic sprue. So yes, we have the miniature for Fréaláf, who you could use in your encounters. Would be quite nice to maybe see a lore accurate version of the fight between him and Wolf on the tabletop as well. Could be quite fun. Something to keep an eye out and maybe do with your games after you've played through those scenarios. Talking of the character on the tabletop, we have the rules for him here, thanks to the MESBG list builder, so I can go through this and show you off the card. So he has a fairly decent profile, fight value of 6. You've got strength 4, defense 5, 3 attacks, 3 wounds. Very good courage value, of course. 2 might, 3 will, and 3 fate. So he's got a little bit of survivability there as well. Coming in at 100 points too. He has the mutual respect active special rule. So while within 6 inches of Hera, Fréaláf gains the Master of Battle 4+ special rule. And he's also the Lord of Harrowdale, which is a passive, which allows him to turn Warriors of Rohan into Warriors of Harrowdale. And if they had the line of sight of Fréaláf, these warriors may reroll Fade Intelligence tests and gain the Shield Wall ability, which is pretty cool. Sort of fits in quite nicely with some of the stuff we've seen for various other Rohirrim characters who can give their warriors a particular style of fighting on the tabletop. We saw that with some of the characters from the Lord of the Rings era, and we're seeing that now here with Fréaláf too, which is quite nice. So yes, nice character, as you can see there. Be nice to see someone do it in that slightly more muted tone, as I mentioned before. But cool character, and nice to see that the first Marshal of the Riddermark and a future King of Rohan is available for you to pick up and add to your collection, which is quite nice. Second character that we got revealed as well is the awesome Shieldmaiden that is Olwyn. You might remember her from the trailer and obviously the movie, winging that shield into a few tribesmen, knocking them all over the place. Very cool miniature, as you can see here too, with a horse that is incredibly happy. I think it's had quite a few sugar cubes, as you can see there. Gorgeous sculpts for both of the characters and both of the horses, I'd say, as well, which is quite nice. But again, you get a mounted and a foot version for Olwyn, one of the Shieldmaidens of Rohan. A proud warrior woman, as you can see there, looking very nice, and again matches up quite nicely with the film version of the character. I actually think this is also a figure from the new range, alongside Lief actually as well, who would fit in quite nicely with a lot of the mainline Lord of the Rings era Rohirrim figures very, very easily. Especially the on-foot version of her, I think you could see that matched up quite well with a lot of the other characters from that collection, and would work quite nice scale-wise too. But yeah, nice character for you to pick up there on that front as well. Have fun painting that horse. When it comes to rules for Olwyn, here she is, the Shieldmaiden of Rohan. She again has a decent stat line, fight value of 5, which is pretty good. Strength 4, defense 5, 3 attacks and 2 wounds on that front, with 2 might, 2 will, and 3 fate. So another decent fate score there as well, which is quite nice for keeping her alive. And she has Stalwart Fighter, which is an active ability, which I think is pretty darn good. And she's also coming in at 80 points as well, so she's pretty decent costing. She has, whilst Olwyn is outnumbered in combat, hello Boromir, enemy models require a 6 to wound her, which is insane regardless of their strength. Enemy models may still use their might to influence the 2 wound rolls as normal, so you're going to be looking for those 6s on those dice when she's absolutely surrounded, which means that she's going to be incredibly good at holding down an objective, especially if you can ride her over on her horse to begin with. She also comes with the Swarm Protector Hera, special orders you can see there, and Horse Lord and Expert Rider, as you would expect for a Rohirrim character. And also with Heroic Defense and Heroic Resolve in there at the same time too. This means she's going to be quite a unit to try and move on the tabletop. Keep her around near Hera alongside the likes of Fréaláf, as you can see there, and you can have quite a fun little bunch of characters running around as a threesome, kicking ass and taking names. Not that kind of threesome. Last but not least, we also had the reveal of when these miniatures are going to be coming out. So this is going to be as part of a 3 miniature set. So you're going to get your hands on Frailaf, Olwyn and Lief in one pack. They're all going to be plastic. You get the foot and mounted characters, so that's 6 in total. And these will allow you to bulk out the rest of the range, which means that you're going to have Frailaf, Olwyn, Lief, Helm, Hera, Hammer and Haleth, all together in plastic, and giving you all of the characters that you need for playing your games set against the backdrop of the War of the Rohirrim, if you're playing as the good characters from that, which is quite cool. Very nice set. Lovely to see that all come together very nicely. You've obviously got all of the evil side as well. Most of it available, well, 2 of them available in plastic, which came in the start set, with Wolf and General Targ. And then, of course, you have Freka and the Usurper of Rohan available as part of a Forge World collection on that front too, as well as a few Orcs and the Snow Troll and things if you want to go down that direction. And there's also the Wraith of the Hornburg and that kind of thing available in Forge World resin as well. So lots of nice stuff on that front. Just a little one as well, just thought I'd go through the rules for Lief because he's quite fun too. So he has 5 will, which is great, 1 fate and 1 might. He's a support character, so I wouldn't expect anything too different on that front. Only 50 points as well, so you can slide him into most of your warbands quite nicely, which I think is quite cool. And he has Orders from Edoras, which is a passive, so Lief may spend a will point at the end of his activation, as long as he is not engaged in combat, to pick one of the following orders that last until the end of the turn. Each order can only be chosen once per game, so use them wisely. The first of those is friendly Rohan hero models within 3 inches. Could declare a free heroic combat. Could be very, very handy. He has friendly Rohan models within 3 inches gain the Fearless special rule. Very good if you're facing down a lot of monsters. Number 3, friendly Rohan models within 3 inches do not suffer the -1 penalty to hit when moving and shooting, which is very nice, and may reroll failed to hit rolls. That's super cool. 4, friendly Rohan models that start their activation within 3 inches of Lief gain the Woodland Creatures and Mountain Dwellers ability, which means that they're going to be great at scaling through terrain and getting to objectives that your opponent thinks is safe. And then last but not least, friendly Rohan models that start their activation within 3 inches of Lief increase their move value by 2, which is also incredibly good. And he's got 5 will, so that means he's going to be able to do one of those every turn, as long as you don't lose your will for any other reason to resist spells and all that kind of good stuff. Now, as I said, you're going to be able to drop him into your force. He comes mounted. on the back of the horse as well, so you could ride him around the tabletop all over the place, getting to where he's needed to make sure you apply those special rules as and when. I might see a bunch of evil characters trying to pick him off from range potentially, which would be really sad because you don't want to see poor little Lief getting shot unless you're an evil bastard. But there we go. So yes, all three of those characters coming very, very soon to the War of the Rohirrim range. It's going to be super cool to see those popping up. This does mean I've got a lot of catching up to do. I've got Helm Hammerhand to get, I've got Hera to get, I've got all of these characters to get, and then I should really paint Hammer and Haleth and the rest of the characters from that start set at some point. They are currently sitting in the pile of potential, but I've got dwarves to paint at the moment, which is the sticking point. But I will get to these at some point in the future. But yeah, let me know what you think of these characters in the comments down below. I enjoy the dialogue that we have in the comments. Share your thoughts about crazy horses, and everything else in between. Let me know if you're going to be snapping these up. Do you like the look of these? Will it complete your War of the Rohirrim collection? Did you pick up that new starter set? Like, share, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff. But as I say, most importantly, get into the comments and share your thoughts, because I love having a chat with you. I'm going to get ready to dive into more videos for later in the week, delving back into the Mortal Realms and Warhammer Age of Sigmar, but a nice little Middle-earth aside for us to venture into here. Make sure to check out more of the videos over on the channel, and I'll talk to you folks very, very soon. Bye for now.